Hi, so I assume you clicked on this video as you wanted a bit of an insight into what South Wales University is like. My name is Alice and I went to the open day today. I am a second year student, so I am in my final year of A-levels. Unfortunately, I was not able to get videos around campus. However, I have got videos of the welcome talk, the psychology talk, and the accommodation. If you want to skip to any specific point in the video, I will put timestamps on there. The first event of the day was the welcome talk. I believe this took place across campus in different areas that corresponded to your subject choice.
We now have 5 sites, so we've actually got 5 sites. We've got this one here in Pontypridd, the Treforest campus. Just a stone's throw away across the road there, we have our Lantwit campus, or our Lantwit site, and that is all things nursing and science and other bits and pieces. Just down the road then we have our sports park, so our fantastic sports park, which facilities you guys can use as well. And that's, again, just a stone's throw away. We've actually got a little mini bus that goes around all 3 of those sites. Every 20 to 30 minutes, the students can go to those sites very easily. And then much further down the road in Cardiff, we've got our creative campus, and that's nestled right in the city centre, so you can use those facilities down there as well. And then we also have our Newport campus, a little bit further down, those things like teaching and cyber security, that type of thing down there. So if you're looking for a formal red brick university, fairly restricted in their approach, quite traditional in their approach of teaching, we're not the university for you. We're dynamic, we're all about employability, and we're putting you guys at the front of it with our teaching provisions and preparing you for real-world problems, real-world briefs within your courses. We're really proud just to be a stone's throw away from Pontypridd, which is sort of in that direction there. Sorry, that direction that way, and you can walk there from here quite comfortably. We've also got the bus and we've got the train that goes straight there as well. It's a very, very historical town, market town, so some of you will probably know it, some of you don't, but it's really become more and more modernised each year as it goes down there. So we've got the beautiful National Lido, which is the outdoor swimming pool down there. So it was the old Victorian baths down there, so that's now this outdoor pool, which is fantastic in the summertime especially for students who want to use the big Pontypridd Park, which is down there, which you can see in this one here. Park down there. So a lot of our students will go down there in the summer, they'll interact, socialise, go put themselves into the pool down there, have a little bit of fun. And it's just something different than the everyday courses. Also, a little bit further than that as well, not only is that, we have got, obviously like I mentioned, Cardiff, just a stone's throw away. You can get a train, 20-minute, half-an-hour train from our train station just down, 2 minutes walk from here, straight into Cardiff. Or if you liked a bit more of the countryside, we've got the Brecon Beacons, literally again, sort of a 30-minute drive up the road. So you really do have a contrast, and we've got beaches, so you really do have something for everyone in this location, which is really nice. And in Ponty, again, there's plenty of places and things to do. So we have obviously the places to go out for food and drink. Again, all of this is on campus here as well. So as you get a chance today to go and explore, we've got our SU's got its own nightclub, bar, places to go and eat as well. But if you wanted to go a bit further, you know that it's just a walk down the road. We've got Cozy Club, just a Gatto Lounge, part of the lounge sort of enterprise just down the road, and lots of other restaurants and things like that people like to go to. So again, something not just for your studying, but outside of that as well. We've got a lot to offer here. Obviously, with an ever-increasing competitive environment, especially in the graduate area, we feel that we're the best place to support you in getting as far as you possibly can. And that isn't just when you're with us here at university, but even afterwards. So for example, we have a fantastic careers team that after graduation, years later, if you wanted to maybe change direction or search for a new job or write a CV, you can come back to the uni, we'll help you do that because you're an alumni of the university. We've got our library on campus, which is the heart of everything. So our advice zone is in the library. It's the first point of contact for any and all student inquiries here at USW. Only just really started the new term, got a lot of new first years on campus, started a couple of weeks ago, but a lot of them will direct them through to the advice zone, and they can go there and chat about if they're lost, they're not quite sure where to go, where their next lecture is, but also right through from IT support, from disability support, accessing accessibility, and also budgeting as well. So we really do have such a good wraparound care here, from accessibility to money, everything like that to support you in your journey. We've also got our Students' Union, which is an integral part to a university. And like I said, they're there to represent your voice. So you can go there and look at different societies, clubs, sports, as well as things like the nightclub and the bar and the restaurant up there as well. So it's really good to sort of embed yourself into that socialising, that USW family within there up in the SU. And again, you get a chance to see that and feel that today and have a chat to some of the clubs and societies that we have on campus. Accommodation. But I just want you guys to know, if you are local, don't think that shuts off having to stay in halls and accommodation and think that you have to stay at home, because it really doesn't. You can stay in halls. You'll see that there is money there to support you if you did want to live in halls, okay, and move away from home. We can look at that a little bit later. But if you are thinking about accommodation, now is the best time to go and have a look. So, situated on campus, which is fantastic for those early morning lectures and rolling out of bed and coming down here into a lecture at 9 AM. So we've got some example flats on the show today. What I would say is the pricing for accommodation is all for those students that have started this year in September. As you can imagine, working out next year's cost is currently being done, so I would just take everything with a pinch of salt in terms of costs and prices, because those could be open to change by September 2026. As soon as you start to make us one of your 5 options and then start to apply, then we can start sending more information. We can really start to sort of guide your future together, so to speak. We do then, if you do add us as one of your 5 options in UCAS, you'll then be personally invited to an applicant experience day. So those happen next year, and they sort of dotted around between the April, May and March time, and those are invite only. So these open days are open for absolutely anybody to book onto. Those are an invite only to only USW applicants. We have UniBuddy. If you go onto UniBuddy, you can search University of South Wales and you can speak to academics, current students, people from future students, my team, drop them a message. It's a bit like WhatsApp, okay? And then we can get back to you as soon as possible. So any questions that you might be going away from today, think, damn, I wish I asked this, we can support you. Decisions you're making today aren't just going to be the next 3 or 4 years of your life from the time that you study. It could be much, much further than that. It's not just your academic life and your job life. So decisions that you make now might not just affect those 3 years, but actually the rest of your life, and actually could change where you're living and change who you're with and all of this thing as well.
The second event of the day was obviously course talks. So after the welcome talk, we got escorted by one of the course leads of the subject to our specific area that we need to go for the talk.
Why do people want to study psychology? Well, often when you ask students why they want to study psychology, they say they're interested in what motivates people, why people behave and act in the way they do, what makes people tick. And that's a key thing, a key reason why people want to study psychology. But it's much more than that. Psychology is a science. And because it's a science, because you learn a wide range of things within psychology, such as communication skills, such as IT skills, such as research methods and statistics, your opportunities for employment are massive. Psychology makes a positive impact on the lives of individuals. Okay, if I give you some examples, colleagues here at the University of South Wales are interested in alcohol-related brain damage, right? Some people that drink excessively over a very, very long period of time, they develop brain damage. They have problems with thinking, concentrating, all these kind of things. Now, within the NHS, this idea of alcohol-related brain damage wasn't well understood or well investigated. So what our team has done is they've researched on it and they've opened up one of the first specific NHS wards to treat people with alcohol-related brain damage. They've also developed assessment tools for alcohol-related brain damage. So So that's an example of how psychology can make a difference. Now, if you wanted to be a professional psychologist, these are all the protected careers, specific careers. Clinical psychologist, they help people with mental health problems using psychological techniques. A counselling psychologist also helps people with mental health problems. There's a subtle difference between a clinical psychologist and a counselling psychologist. The difference is in the methods that are used to help people. You could become an educational psychologist. So this may involve working with children with difficulties, with ADHD, autism spectrum disorders, going to schools, doing assessments, and recommending therapies, treatment, or educational intervention. So if you want to work with kids, that would be an educational psychologist. Occupational psychologists work within businesses. And they can do things such as look at the welfare of employees. Why is everybody in this organisation really, really stressed? What is it about the management in this organisation that makes people feel unhappy? So we work with managers and employees to help a better, or to be conducive to a better relationship between the two. Forensic psychology is about working with individuals who have a criminal history. So one-to-one work could be in rehabilitating people with a background in criminology, background in criminal behaviour, could involve working with prisons, anything to do with understanding and rehabilitating people who have committed crime. Then we have health psychology, and this is looking at healthy behaviour, right? How can we encourage young people to stop vaping? Vaping is a bit of an issue these days. Young people seem to have moved from smoking into vaping, but vaping's got all kinds of health-related issues. A health psychologist might be employed by a local authority to stop, or to try to limit the use of vaping in a particular community. But then we're always also talking about things like eating behaviour, sexual behaviour, anything that impacts on your health is what a health psychologist is interested in. And then we have sports and exercise psychologists. This could involve working with athletes. How to get the best performance from a team or individual sportsman in the sporting arena. Or it could be more generally how to encourage people to be more physically active, because people are not as active as they should be. 5 courses. 4 of the courses are accredited by the British Psychological Society. So we've got straightforward BSc psychology. Then we have psychology with counselling. So there's more focus on interpersonal skills and counselling skills within psychology and counselling. We've got psychology with criminology, so you're interested in crime and forensics, then that's the degree for you. Or if you're interested in developmental disorders, children with difficulties, then psychology with developmental disorders would be the one for you. Then we've also got the degree BSc Childhood Development. It's not accredited by the British Psychological Society because it's not a specific psychology course. These are the topics that you will cover within our core British Psychological Society courses. Biological psychology, what does that mean? This means, can we understand people from a biological perspective? Can we understand how people behave according to neurotransmitters, according to hormones, according to different areas of the brain, according to our physiological systems? So we look at humans merely as complex biological entities, as complex animals. We try to understand humans in that way. Cognitive psychology, this is looking at our thought processes. Some of you have got good memories, some of you might have weak memories. We'll be looking at what makes people's memories good and bad, what makes people able to attend and to focus, and other people not so good. So you learn all about cognitive structures, cognitive capabilities. Developmental psychology, a little bit like educational psychology, you learn about how we develop as we grow up. You know, Piaget's stages of development. You know, what happens, what's the difference between a 2-year-old, 4-year-old and a 5-year-old in terms of psychological development. Then we have individual differences. This will look at things related to how we differ as individuals. we can think about things like personality. We've all got very different personalities. Why is that? What causes some of us having one type of personality, other people have different types of personality. Also looking at things like intelligence. How do you assess intelligence? What does intelligence mean? So that's individual differences. Then we have social psychology. This is looking at how the social world impacts on our behaviour and our thought. We all act differently in a group compared to when we are alone or with a group of friends. So it will explore how the people around us impact our behaviour. Conceptual and historical issues looks at the fascinating topic of the history of psychology, where it stemmed from. A lot of it stems from ancient Greek thought, but it also will look at problems in professional psychology. There's been times in the past where psychologists have done terrible things, terrible research. So it'll look at psychology as a whole and the positives and the negatives as to what it has done. And then research methods. As I mentioned at the beginning, research methods is about learning the scientific method, collect data, analyse the data, and understand the world through validated research techniques.
Unfortunately, the audio of this part of the video wasn't the best, so I'll quickly go over what they were saying. As you can see, lectures take place across 2 days and not 5, 4, or 3. They're very bunched up together. They said this is so students had free time to complete any essays, extra work for psychology, or just have their free time. They said this timetable is most relevant to years 1 and 2 if students are doing a 3-year course. However, it becomes less flexible during a 3rd-year course as you have optional courses that are set on specific days, so your days may increase.
We've got lectures like what I'm doing now, reading and talking. But in addition to that, in my modules, we've got interactive activities, we've got quizzes, we've got discussion groups, we've got videos to watch, all different things. So it's not the case of you just sitting there quietly for 8 hours a week. Much of the content will be delivered to you in a much more interesting way.
So it's a brilliant piece of equipment. It's over in Glintaff currently, but I think the plan is to have one over here eventually. So you can see sort of a picture there as to what it's like. So this is actually what they call the control room, where some students or staff can sit and watch mini breakout pods where students are engaging in activities. So the one that I experienced when they were training staff to use Hydra, the example that they used was related to policing. So they would give students in the pods a bit of information. That might be, I think first of all we were shown like a recording of police officers going to a door, knocking on the door, and then an individual opening the door, and then they would pause the recording and then ask the student a question like, what do you think they've done well in this situation? What could they have done better as police officers? Did they approach the situation in the correct manner? And then the students are fed more and more information in different dynamic ways. So it could be that they get a fax with a little bit more information about the case, or they receive a telephone call, again with more information about the case. So through these series of activities, they're building the case and information about the case. And then by the end of it, as part of the assessment, the students would have to write what they thought was effective in terms of police strategy, what could have been done better, and so forth. That was the one that I experienced, but I know some of our psychology staff have also used it with students. So there was an activity around educational psychology for the developmental disorders students, again, where the students are acting as part of a multidisciplinary team, and they're fed bits of information, and by the end of the day they have to put forward what their recommendations are given the case at hand.
But our assessments at the moment are varied. There are some essays, there are some in-class tests, there are some multiple choice quizzes, there are reports that you have to write, there are literature reviews, there are a range of different assessment methods, but no exams at the end of the year. They call the dissertation writing retreat. Now when it comes to April, or March, April time, students are writing their 10,000 word dissertation. Students often panic when they have to write their dissertation. So what we do is we take them away for a full day where they have access to all the expertise of all the psychology team, and we will help you with your dissertation. So it's full day. You know, I'm struggling with this bit of my writing, this bit of my analysis. The students were all there working in groups, and we were helping with all of their dissertations.
After this, we were shown the equipment in the lab, the psychology area, and then were taken into a room with drinks and biscuits so we could ask any questions. And the third and final event of the day was looking at accommodation. Unfortunately, I was only able to film one part of the accommodation, so the one you see will be the cheapest accommodation, which I believe is £115 a week, if I can remember correctly. And the other accommodation we saw, it actually housed students. They weren't there, but they had photos up, and I did not want to film any of their rooms without their consent. So as I said, this is the cheapest accommodation. There's a wet room instead of a shower. You've got your wardrobe, some shelving, nice view of the path, and a single bed with no storage underneath. Then you've got your kitchen / communal area, just very basic and roomy. Unfortunately for me, I don't think this uni is the right place. It's a very quiet area, not much is going on. There is a nightclub in the Students' Union, but there isn't much going on outside. When we were driving around the area, it didn't really feel like my type of place. I like a more busier place where I can do things, go out, and I didn't see myself going out in the town. It felt more like a village. I was also told that the social life isn't the best, and personally, I love having a good social life. As I said, I like going out. But if you do like a quiet place, I would say this uni is very good to look at. They've got another open day in October, and I believe in November, but I will correct myself if I am wrong. We also went to the Stilt building, which is the food hall, and the food was very, very nice. The choices there for us on the day were a beef burger or a chicken burger. You could have jacket potato with beans, coleslaw or cheese. And then what I had were fish goujons, and I had that with chips and beans. And I also got a side portion of onion rings, and they were quite nice actually. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this has given you some insight into the university itself. Please visit as many universities as you can, as your own experience will help you decide upon a university even better.